We begin this hour with breaking news from the United States. President Donald Trump has averted a government shutdown by finally signing a $2.4 trillion package that includes COVID-19 relief funding. The Senate will now begin a process for a vote to increase direct payments to jobless Americans to $2,000. The Congress will also review part of the legislation that deals with the freedoms social media companies enjoy, and an investigation will be started into voter fraud in the November 3rd presidential elections. The bill's signing comes after days of confusion and uncertainty over whether people out of work would be able to pay their rent and buy groceries at the end of the month. All right, for more on this, Andy Rosegen joins us now live from Chicago, Illinois. Andy, is the amount of unemployment benefits the only reason why Trump waited on signing the bill? What changed?
Pressure, Efnon. There was a ton of pressure on President Trump to get this done, only by not just Pratt's, but by his own Republican Party to sign this legislation. And the legislation is so much more than just those enhanced payments that he wanted, that he demanded that residents of America get, from $600 up to $2,000. It also pays for the vaccine, the COVID vaccine, to be distributed in America. It pays for improvements to infrastructure. It pays for the enhanced unemployment benefits that a lot of Americans, up to 12 million Americans, have been getting for months because of this pandemic. And those benefits, because Trump delayed this signing, there will now be a gap in getting those benefits, maybe for days. And that's really tough for people who rely on those benefits week after week. So, Efron, there was a lot more to it than just what he wanted. He also wanted, as he said, elimination of pork, as he called it, the extra spending on certain things in the bill to fund the government. But the weird thing is, Efnon, is that his own team negotiated all these things long before President Trump weighed in on it at the very end. So it's a little bit baffling for a lot of people, even in his own party.
So a vote now has to be passed on, of course, the $2,000 payment. How can we expect that to unfold?
Probably not, actually, Efron. And, that was actually, to be clear, what President Trump said tonight was that he said that he is working with his Republicans in Congress to look into this, to get it done, but there's no guarantee that it will happen. And here's the problem. As you mentioned, he wants three things. He wants those benefits bumped up from $600 to $2,000. He also wants limits on social media companies, and he wants investigation into election fraud. But the Republicans who control the Senate in Congress will not agree to raising that rate up from $600 to $2,000. They're very much against it. And the Democrats, who control the House of Representatives on the other end of Congress, there's no way they're ever going to investigate any of this so-called election fraud, which President Trump has talked about for weeks now. And the bottom line is, Trump only has about 20-some days left in office. So the chances of anything getting passed along those lines are very slim.
So what's been the reaction to all this from lawmakers from both sides, both parties?
A lot of relief, Efnon. Republicans were even saying, look, this was going to hurt us because there is a very important Senate race coming up in Georgia. You might know about, of course. Two Republicans are facing off against two Democrats. That could decide control of Congress. And there was talk among Republicans that all this waiting by Donald Trump was going to hurt that race of those two Republicans there. So there's a lot of relief. But even one Republican in the House of Representatives says, look, there's no way that the Senate on the other side of Congress is going to take up lifting up those payments, those stimulus payments from $600 to $2,000. But who cares at this point, right? Everyone is just relieved that at least for now, the government is back open. It will be. And this COVID stimulus package is on its way to provide relief for a lot of Americans.
Right, Andy, and you mentioned that Trump also wants an investigation opened into voter fraud during the November presidential election, but you're not hopeful that they will open this investigation. What do you think will follow after that?
It's very doubtful that they will. And like I said, Democrats who control the House of Representatives will never let that happen. But all of this is really going downhill for Donald Trump. I think he just said that tonight. And I think Republicans just sort of placated him tonight by saying, OK, yeah, we'll take a look at voter fraud. But even the Senate Republican who controls the top man in the Republican Party in the Senate, Mitch McConnell, has already said Joe Biden won the election. It's over. on January 6th. Congress will go ahead and certify those results. The last thing Trump is talking about doing now is holding some sort of wild protest on January 6th, trying to get that to somehow change. But certainly, Efron, Joe Biden is on his way to becoming the 46th president on January 20th. That's really the bottom line here.
All right, Andy Rosegen for us there out of Chicago, Illinois. Thank you for bringing us up to date on that. U.S.